Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Happy April 22nd. Having a hard time talking today. My name is Cody Hand with the Speakers Collaborative, and this is the studio session. We are joined with an amazing Californian today, and I'm going to bring her on. Her name is Courtney, and I don't quite remember how to pronounce her last name. So we're going to ask her right now. Courtney, who are you?
Hello, my name is Courtney Loechl. It rhymes with freckle. No one can ever say it. It's totally fine.
I would have gone with local, like local, right?
It worked really well in the 90s with like telemarketers because you knew immediately that they didn't know who you were because that was said a lot.
Well, I can't talk much because I'm hand, but whatever. You'd be amazed how many people are confused by that. It's an appendage. It's this thing. Anyway, Courtney, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, give us a bit of an intro. Who are you? What do you do? Where do you live? What are your favorite pets? All the things.
So I live in LA in California, so it's nice and warm and sunny. I get to surf before work. It's great. I am a make shit happen coach as now my side business. I previously did it full time for a few years, but then I fell into startups. So now I say my muggle job is my 9 to 5. So I'm a customer success manager with a tech startup in crowdfunding called BackerKit, and I coach on the side. So I really like having both. It's just a really nice mix of everything. And I have about 19 different hobbies outside of that. So I'm very active.
Nice. And surfing is one of those hobbies.
Surfing is one of those hobbies. Surfing, snowboarding. I'm learning to skateboard right now on a 2-wheeled surf skateboard. So it's shaped like a surfboard, but it's 2 wheels. It was actually a crowdfunding creator that I worked with on his project on the back end on the software. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. I have to try this. Never skateboarded before. So I'm in like all the padding trying to learn it, but it's super fun.
Okay. So I want to get back to your now side hustle, make shit happen, coach.
Yes.
Is that what you called yourself?
Yeah.
First of all, I love the muggle title, but we're going to go with the other one. So make shit happen. And we're probably going to curse more today on the show ever, Mom. So if you don't like that, go ahead and tune out. Tell me what that means.
Yeah, that's my favorite question because I think people assume just by the tenet of that phrase that it's hustle and grinding and like we got to go for the thing. And obviously, I'm very much about going for the thing, doing the damn thing. Like that's the vibe, right? But I think of making shit happen as this constant exercise in taking away friction from the realities of just being human in a chaotic world, which is kind of a mouthful. But what I mean by that is we want to wait for the right time. We want to wait for the perfect conditions. We want to think if we just work harder and more hours or wake up earlier, like we'll achieve whatever the goal is, whether that's a business thing, a life thing, whatever. And that's just not how I find it works. It's not how my clients find it works. Instead, it's this daily, weekly, forever exercise and doing little things that make it more supportive for us to take action, make it easier to take action, make it more likely for us to take action instead of setting ourselves up for failure, thinking we're going to completely rewire our brains overnight and be in a completely different headspace or a different habit forming, So it's just this constant small exercise in making it more likely for us to achieve our goals.
Okay. So making shit happen means blowing shit up.
Yeah.
Maybe getting barriers out of the way, which
Yeah.
could be ourselves, right?
100%. It usually is, let's be honest. Because the thing is, we all have very real barriers, whether those are systemic barriers, whether those are, just individual, unique to us barriers. But at the end of the day, we still have only ourselves to work with in terms of how we overcome those things, how we work and navigate those things. And so it's not just about blowing shit up of like the barriers. It's also blowing up the beliefs that it has to be this way or a certain way to be able to make progress. So a perfect example of this is procrastination. Like I love working with procrastination with clients because I'm the ultimate procrastinator. And so I know every trick in the book of getting past it. I also know every trick in the book of like lying to myself and keep doing it because I do them all. And I think procrastination gets this like, it's almost like a dirty word of something it has to be changed and it has to be avoided. Where I see procrastination as just illumination. Like it's just showing you what or how or why you might not be going after something. It could be a very valid reason, like you're exhausted. Maybe you're a parent and you have very little time outside of all the chaos of life. It could also be a more innate, or I should say, like an emotional or psychological reason of like you're afraid to fail, you're afraid to succeed, you are afraid to be visible. I mean, there's all these underlying fears that it's not the lack of time or that you haven't reverse engineered the plan. It's like, you buy the new planner, you do all the things to plan, and you still don't execute because there's actually something else going on. So I think it's really helpful to kind of dig into your procrastination and find out, why am I actually not moving forward? That's what gives you the roadmap of how you're going to move forward, not just keep throwing spaghetti at the wall of like, maybe if I add a 5-step routine to my morning, I'll actually do it. Like, it's not going to happen.
I didn't think we were going here, but I'm glad we did, because I had a really big awakening a few years ago. Somebody similar to you said similar things about procrastination, because I'm a procrastinator in my whole life. I finish on time, right? But
Yep.
by the time I visibly get started, most people have done 7 iterations, right? And somebody said it's because you 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 want perfection, and you don't want to appear as a fail, and you don't want people to see the iterative stage of the product. And so by the time I'm putting it on paper, I've actually thought about it for days, right? It's not that I haven't done the work. I just haven't written it down, because in my
Mhm.
brain, I'm eliminating the failures before they start. Whereas some people, you got to put it on paper and think out loud, basically.
Yeah.
And for me, it was actually a fairly liberating experience, because I didn't have to feel bad about the fact that I hadn't written it
Exactly.
down yet, right?
Yeah.
That's not my process.
Yep.
My pro
100%.
By the time I've written, I may write it one time, but by the time I've written it down, I've already gone through a bunch of different scenarios in my brain to
Mhm.
eliminate the things that I know aren't going to work.
Yeah. I think liberating is the best word there, because I've felt the same way. When I finally just accepted, like, I'm probably always gonna be like this, it's just how I work. I think a lot of
Right.
people with neurodivergency also are like this, definitely ADHD over here. And I just, if I know that that's what it's gonna be, I can just plan for it. So,
Mhm.
like, I was speaking at a summit about a month ago, and I knew I wasn't gonna create the presentation until the probably 2 nights before, like, give myself 1 night to do some edits. I just made sure I had nothing going on the 2 nights before, and it was fine because I was like, "Cool, I've got a handful of hours now to bang this thing out. I can do some tweaks on it. I feel good." Whereas if I kept telling myself weeks before, even days before, "Oh, I need to work on this thing," I would just have this inner turmoil and feel really bad about myself that I wasn't doing it. It'd be like a constant exercise in failure over and over. And do you think that really sets you up to feel great to go speak at this thing? Like, no. So instead, I spoke about procrastination. I spoke about how I made the presentation a night and a half earlier, and it worked out. And everyone was like, hell yeah, I like this. Liberating was exactly how people were feeling. And I think that's the message we need to get out in the world.
Right. In my speaking work with the Speakers Collaborative, we don't give a cookie cutter for a reason, because some people like to prepare their talk. They get the booking 3 months out. They like to prepare their talk the first day and then spend 3 months working on it. I'm not that guy, right? If I do that, I will fail at the talk, because
Mhm.
I'll be so in my head that I can't actually deliver it effectively. My wife would say, "What are you talking on tomorrow?" I don't know. It's not till tomorrow, right?
Yep.
I haven't done it yet. So when we get there, we'll get there.
Yeah, it's so interesting you say that, because I found before doing this, I was like, "Oh, is there an agenda? Is there something we're gonna talk about?"
No, it's
And
not.
then once I got it and, had some ideas, I was like, "Wait, I actually get more nervous when there is an agenda given to me." 'Cause now I'm like, "What if I don't have all those answers on the top of my head?" When I'm much more comfortable just, like, speaking off the cuff. So, it's so funny that you mentioned that.
Honestly, we do an agenda because I have several people on the other end of the spectrum. Like, I'm not gonna come talk if you don't tell me what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I just wanna talk.
Yeah.
I just wanna have a conversation.
Perfect. Well, here we
Speaking
go.
of talking, like we're doing right now, what we love to do on the Speakers Collaborative is give people the stage. We build them a stage to get on, and today is your day on our virtual stage, Courtney.
Awesome.
So I'm going to give you as long as you want to talk to our audience, talk to your audience. Let us know about you, share from your heart. If you didn't prepare anything, I have a feeling you're going to be able to do it based on our conversation. So when you are ready for me to come back on stage, throw up the bat signal, some sort of muggle code, or whatever you want to do, and I will join you back on stage. Sound good?
Sounds good.
See you in a bit.
All right. Hello, hello. If you are new to my world, I am the Make Shit Happen coach. And as mentioned, I think making shit happen is not about hustle and grinding. It's not about trying to just work harder and force it. It's a constant exercise in taking away friction from the realities of being human in a very chaotic world. So it's about making things easier for you to move forward, more supportive for you to move forward. And that is on whatever your goal is. I think we also tend to come from this mentality that any goal we have, any ambition we have, has to be monetized, has to be some world renowned thing. It needs to stand out. It needs to have excess value in some external metrics. That's also not what I believe. Some of my favorite things to work on for myself, favorite things to work on with clients are passion projects, what I like to call side quests, things that pour out of people because they feel in their soul like, if I don't try this thing, if I don't at least attempt to just see what it could be, it's going to eat at me. And it probably has for a while. By the time people come to me, it's not because they don't know what they want to do or they think there's an idea of something they like could do, but they're not sure. They usually have a very clear idea in some capacity of what they want to move forward, and they are sick of not doing it. So I like to kind of joke, but not joke, that people hire me when they're tired of saying, okay, one day or someday I'm going to do this thing. And they come knocking on my door and they're like, oh my God, I'm ready. And I want everyone to have that feeling of breaking through that barrier on the other side. And, how do we get there? And I do think there is value in kind of letting that build up a little bit because we have a lot of different things that hold us back. So it's worth kind of taking stock of why you're not moving forward. Is it a logistical reason that needs a logistical solution? Is it something more, innate intuition, fear of, I'm not sure if it's going to succeed. I'm not sure if it's worth the time. I'm not sure what other people think about it. Maybe I'm not sure about being perceived in this certain way. For instance, I had a client once who was an engineer and she wanted to write a children's book. It was completely out of kind of her worldview or her how people saw her and her whole network, really. And she's like, I want to do this totally unrelated creative thing that like nobody knows me about. It doesn't have to get published. If it does, cool. I just want to do this for myself. But there was also fear of like, someone could be like, who am I to do a creative thing when people see me this way? Or vice versa. Maybe you're the super artsy creative and suddenly you want to launch a business or you want to do something that's just completely different. And there's that fear because we hold so much identity in the projects we pursue, not just our jobs. I know some people have strong identity to their job, but I think for a lot of us, the identity is wrapped up more strongly in what we really care about and how that comes off in our life based on, again, the different projects we pursue, the hobbies we pursue, the things we try, the things we volunteer for in jobs or, outside of that. And so I just want people to know that you don't have to qualify what you really want to do. Like if you want to do it, that is enough. It doesn't have to have a reason other than just because. I just want to just because. And just because is a reason. I have a random hobby of decorating cookies. And every time I post them, people are like, you should sell these. These are amazing. I don't want to sell them. I will probably never sell these cookies. I do them just because it lights me up. It takes forever. If I sold them, it'd be like $2 an hour. And that's okay. I pursue it because it's important to me. There are other goals that are bigger than that are also important to me, important to clients, and helping them go beyond that is worth it just for that reason alone. So if you take nothing else, I want you to at least have that seed, that nugget, because everything else can be figured out from there. You can figure out the logistics, you can figure out how to work with your patterns or your procrastination, how to overcome it when needed. All of that is figure outable and a lot of different tools on how to do it. But you have to first accept that it's worth the time, the energy, the resources for you to go after something that matters to you before you'll even decide to fix the logistical. So I hope that helps someone out there who has been wanting to pursue a goal of some kind and holding back because maybe you just didn't think it was worth it. And this is your message to tell you that it is.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
It's totally worth it.
I honestly was like, I have no idea what I want to talk about right now because we had already touched on some of the things that have been in my head. And I was like, well, we'll see what comes out of my mouth. So.
Well, you did great. All right. So cookies, I want to know about those. Do you have any examples to show us? What's your favorite?
There are examples on my LinkedIn. I actually have a pinned post on my featured LinkedIn, and the first 4 lines of it are, I will not turn this into a business. I think the picture on that LinkedIn post is one of my favorites. They were little gnomes. They're like Christmas gnomes, and they're super cute. I made minions and Legos for my nephews, like Lego characters. Those were super cute for their birthdays.
That is awesome. And do you bake them or do you buy them?
I bake them, yeah. The baking part is, like, not very fun for me. I just like decorating them, but I suffer through.
Well, we've got a guest. Abdulati said hello. Hello.
Hello.
Good to talk to you. Thanks for joining us today. All right. So, are you a reader?
I am.
What are you reading?
I really like fiction. I read nonfiction as well, but I love reading fiction for just kind of the entertainment, take me into another world. So I kind of vacillate between well, it's not true crime because it's fiction, but crime, horror, thriller. And I really love queer love stories as well. So I just finished oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name of it now. Oh, it's so good too. Okay, maybe the name will come to me, but yeah, it's a really beautiful story between 2 people, and it really just touches on the humanity. The 2 characters originally hate each other and then fall in love, and it really shows how we're the same but different, and just the cross, we're all dealing with the same struggles in different ways, and so I love that.
Amen to that. So, you talk about being a muggle. Do you
Yes,
read Harry Potter?
I do.
How
Read
many
all of
times have
them.
you read them?
Say again?
How many times have you read
I read the whole series through once, and then when I've gone back to read them, I usually bounce around. I'll just pick a random book of the series that I'm like, that one sounds good right now. So I'd say total in life, I've probably read the whole series 2.5 times, maybe.
Okay. Awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. What else do we want to talk about today? Who's your ideal client? Did I already ask you that?
You
I
did
feel like
not?
I did. Oh,
No.
well, who is it?
So my ideal client is much more niche by situation than by a demographic because they have spanned every industry, every age, every gender, every demographic you can think of in that way. What's the word? The common thread that they come to me for, they know what they want to do. They're usually already doing it and they've hit a plateau to where they're not fully executing it to the capacity they want to be. Or sometimes they haven't started at all, but they have been thinking about it for months. They've been dancing around it for months. They've been dipping their toe in certain ways for months. And then they come to me and they're like, I'm clearly not doing the thing. What gives? I need help. So that is the ideal client, the person who is ready to just kind of say, fuck it, I want to take this seriously and I need help getting over whatever hump is keeping me from doing that.
And you often just hold the mirror up and there's the problem right there.
Yes and no, in a more lovingly way. I mean, sometimes I'm a fairly tough love, direct communicator, but you can't tell. But I think sometimes people come in and they know, it's me, I'm the problem. Hi, it's me.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't know why necessarily. They see the top layer of I keep saying I'll do it and I don't. I'm my own worst enemy, but they're not really understanding why they're not doing it. So I'll have a client who thinks, oh, I'm just not giving myself enough time. I'm not prioritizing my time, when really, as we dug in, it was a visibility issue. And I had another client who had a brick and mortar, and she's like, I don't understand. I'm like losing money. I really want this to like be successful. I think maybe I just need better marketing. And then we dig in and I find out that she's giving a ton of discounts at the register, unasked for, because she had a fear of charging people too much in a smaller town. And so there's always different things that they don't see, that maybe, yeah, it is them, it's always us in some form, but it's holding up a mirror to a blind spot that they had, more than just, hey, I know you know what I'm going to tell you already, because there's some of that, of course.
Yeah, I love that. I think the value of coaching is that blind spot awareness,
Hmm.
because I can't tell you how many times I've got a coach right now, Brandon, and I can't tell you how many times we talk for an hour. In the last 5 minutes, he says, I'm going to point out some blind spots that I don't think you were aware of. And what I find important about that conversation is we all have them, right?
Hmm.
I'm never actually going to directly see the small of my back. Nobody is. It's not
Hmm.
possible. And you take that metaphor into leadership, into life, it doesn't
Hmm.
matter who you are. You have a blind spot.
Absolutely.
And the faster that you recognize that you have a blind spot, it doesn't mean you're imperfect. It means you are perfectly created with a blind spot,
Yes.
as every human is.
Yeah.
And the minute we grasp that and realize that I can't see it, but somebody can, and just because they tell me about it doesn't mean they're criticizing me. They're letting me know what's in my blind spot. I can't see it.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important when you're looking at somebody to help you make shit happen, that it's somebody that is willing to go around you, go to your back and say, hey, you can't see this. I
Hmm. And I think it's so important to realize that goes both directions as well. So to both realize, hey, I might have a blind spot. I might benefit from coaching. It doesn't mean I don't have the capacity to do this. As you said, it doesn't mean I couldn't do it, but you're going to get there a lot faster if someone's shining that light.
can't.
And it also goes in reverse. One of my favorite clients I ever had, I almost denied the sales call because I was like, there is no way I can teach this guy anything.
Yeah.
Like, this guy has been an entrepreneur for 25 years. He's hundreds of employees. He's an investor and he's a professor. Like, me, what? And so I truly almost denied the call. And thank God a friend of mine who had passed the referral on was like, oh, you're absolutely getting on that call. And this was a few years back. And we immediately clicked. I realized very quickly in the discovery and the sales call that he had the same challenges as every other client of mine. And just because someone is super successful doesn't mean they don't still have those blind spots, especially on, a certain project or a certain something. And we ended up working together for like a year and a half. Like, he extended 4 times with me. And I finally, by like the third or the fourth extension, I was like, maybe it doesn't matter that he's further along than me. Like, but it really messed with my mind a little bit at the beginning. I'd be like, why is he coaching with me? Am I getting anything out of this? You know, my wife would be like, clearly, I like, you tell me every call it was a great call. Like, I think you're okay.
He's calling you back, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was wise enough to know that he had a blind spot, and you were the correct person. It doesn't matter where you are. You're the
Yeah.
correct person to identify and help with that.
Yeah. So if anyone out there
Mm.
is feeling imposter syndrome of like, I can't help someone because they're further along than me, or any other reason, it's just your mind talking trash, and you
That's
got to
right.
talk trash right back.
Answer it back.
Yeah.
Talk back. I hear that all the time. I say it all the time. 80% or more of successful people have imposter syndrome. The other 20% are lying about
Yeah, exactly.
it. And we all need somebody like you to help us out. That's amazing. I love it. All right, we have some rapid fire moments here. So I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to ask me a question. Let's move on. All right. I'm spending 2 weeks in LA in July. Favorite place to eat?
Favorite place to eat?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. There is a vegan place that does not taste vegan at all.
I'm cool with that.
Okay, it's Italian and it's in West Hollywood. It's called Pura Vida, I believe, or something just like that. Now I'm blanking.
Okay.
It is so good. So
Okay.
if you, especially if you have someone who is like, oh, vegan, take them there. Don't tell them it's vegan. It's a fun surprise.
Awesome. Cool. Your turn.
What is the craziest speaking gig that you've got in the past, whether the way you got it or what you were speaking about or anything?
This was probably 20 years ago in a different life. I was addressing a crowd with about 150 people, and it was a very mixed crowd. I can't even remember the topic, but there were quite a few special needs individuals in this crowd. And one of them walked on stage while I'm talking. And I was at a podium at the time. I don't do podiums anymore. And she literally stood shoulder to shoulder with me the entire time. And it was, I was in my 20s and still not used to life and still thinking about decorum and all the bullshit that we put on people. But I just let it go, and we had a really great talk, and I got some business out of it because people were like, "You just let her do it." I'm like, "Why not?" Right? I wouldn't say it's the weirdest. It's the most unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, mine for you. What is your weirdest speaking gig?
My weirdest what?
Speaking gig.
It's my weirdest speaking gig. Wasn't ready for that question back. I was like, I feel like all of mine have been pretty not normal. Um, I guess I'll say again, not maybe weird, but unique. I spoke at the American Hostel Conference several years back. I used to manage backpacker hostels, so I think
Fun.
that's unique because people
Yeah.
don't even know that that's a thing, really. So I was pretty big in the hostel management industry. I was the editor of Hostel Management website, and got to speak at the conference, and it was just really fun to connect with hostel owners from around the world, and it was great.
Did you have to dress up for that one?
It's very, very casual. I mean, I dressed cute, but no, it's not a suit and tie vibe.
I feel like that's like cargo shorts and Birkenstocks.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Man, hostels are the way to go. I did that all throughout my youth.
I love it.
Perfect. Perfect. Where can we find you?
You can find me somewhere around the world, depending on when I'm traveling, but on the internet. That's my like fun fact is I lived all around the world in my 20s.
Awesome.
But yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, you can find me on Instagram, you can email me. All my socials and everything are my name. It's very easy to find me. I'm the only one in the world with my name. So
Loechl, like Freckle.
exactly. You got it.
Awesome. Well, you know what? This has been so much fun. I do want to give you the last word. So give us some parting wisdom.
Some parting words. Of course, my mind goes blank. Parting words would be if you can't stop thinking about it, even the tiniest little wiggle in the back of your head, it's time to do something about it.
That beginning scene in Pretty Woman. You know that I'm talking about? What's your dream? Everybody comes to Hollywood has a dream. What's yours? I love that. I think, don't sit on your dreams, Courtney.
Yeah. That's if you sit on your dreams, they go to someone else. Like dreams
Right.
move to other people.
That's
Like
right.
you gotta jump on them.
Don't sit on. Listen, I really appreciate it that you came with us today. I know it's 3 hours early for you,
It's perfect.
and I just really appreciate it. So hang out for a bit. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody and catch up with you in a second. Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for joining us. Again, this is the Speakers Collaborative studio session. I'm excited that you all came to be with us today. If you have questions about the Speakers Collaborative, join us at thespeakerscollaborative.com. And next week we will have Shlomo Hamrick, who's going to talk to us about all things style. Have a great day, everybody. See you next time. Do you want to tell your story? Stop sitting on the sidelines. We built a stage. Get on it.